just get this, this passenger telling us otherwise. How do you combat that?
Yeah. I think the core of it, in a way, is trying to get into a place where we can relate differently to these thoughts. That rather than fighting them, rather than trying to make them go away, rather than saying, "Okay, I need to think more positively in order to do X," we just continue to let them do their thing while we do what matters to us. So that can be hard to do, but there's some strategies that can help do it. Mindful meditation's one nice one, because when you focus on your breath and then you notice getting pulled into thoughts, the mindfulness practice is saying, "Oh, okay, there's a thought," and come back to your breath. That's really the thing to do, in a way, right? It's okay, there's the thought, and then I'm going to come back to what I'm doing. I'm not going to make the thought go away. I'm going to hold that thought for what it is. It's going to still be there, but I'm going to shift my attention back to what I'm doing. Not away from the thought, but towards where I want to go. Other ones, like labeling the thought, will sometimes have people do things like just add the label, "I'm having the thought that." So right now, I'm having the thought that I need to explain it more. And I'm having the thought that, like, "Oh, this doesn't make sense. I need to come up with a better example." That's kind of what my brain's literally doing right now. And as I'm adding this label, I'm having the thought that, I'm noticing it just as a thought. What that's allowing me to do is create a space for me to now shift and end what I'm talking about, rather than maybe explain for another 5 minutes, which is my urge when I really believe that thought. I'm just noticing it as a thought and then coming back to the present.
Wow, yeah, it's kind of like, it's so corny, but it's kind of like the present is a gift. So if you can come back to the present moment, just like you just did there, you kind of caught yourself. You can realize, what actually is going on. So it's funny, I've probably had a little bit too much coffee today, and it's one of the habits, it's one of the directions I don't want to go in, but I'm human. Here I am going in the wrong direction sometimes. And as you're talking, I'm like trying to watch my breath. So the meditation part of things, I think I'm experienced with. But the labeling part of things. So I think basically meditation is much more widespread. A lot of people know about meditation, they might have tried it, but labeling your thoughts, personally anyway, I find it pretty tricky. I find it kind of silly, but I hear people recommend it. Experts like yourself recommend, if you label a thought, it sort of loses its power almost. What's the whole labeling about? Why is it useful? Why would you recommend it?
Yeah, I think anything that helps you notice your thoughts is just thoughts. That's the core of the skill that I'm describing right now, in terms of what to deal with when you have negative thoughts or other challenging thoughts come up, is just notice it for what it is. Because what our minds do is they're really good at making us think they're a lot more than what it is. It's rather than just this random thought, rather than this learned programming, rather than repeating a thing you've heard in media or you've heard from a friend or family member. It's like, no, this is a true thing, or, oh, this is a really important thing I have to give all my attention to. And if we can instead just notice it as just a thought, that doesn't mean we have to invalidate circumstances we're in. It just means it's just a thought. It truly is, right? We're just having a thought in the moment. And then we can choose what we want to do next. So coming back to, okay, well, like right now we're trying to be in the present and having conversations. So coming back to that. So the idea is like just noticing it as a thought. And what that allows you to do is take the power away from thoughts to push us around a lot more.
Yeah, it's kind of like you realize that the passenger on the bus is just a person on the bus. They're not the driver. They're not the bus itself. They ultimately don't have the power. Yeah. So is there any kind of common labels or situations, you talked about your nutrition work that you do, that people could relate to get an idea of how to label things effectively?
Yeah, let me think about that for a moment. So one that comes up quite a bit around, I think, this both physical activity and food, is excuses. Like, so our mind will come up with a lot. Our mind's very good at coming up with reasons. It's really a very good evolved skill that we have, right? Like, it helps us make sense of the world. It helps us predict and plan for the future. We need to know why things happen, why we did a certain thing, why someone else did a certain thing. And what that can then afford us is this ability to always come up with an excuse for whatever behavior we're inclined to do. And so when we're working on health goals, for example, with eating or physical activity, mind will come up with a lot of excuses like, oh, okay, well, you can have one more chip because X. Chips are my big one. Oh, you'll work on your diet tomorrow, or well, you don't want to disappoint people because they made these brownies. So you got to eat three. That's another big one for me. And the more I'm kind of saying this laughing a bit, because but honestly, there is a little bit of this shift where if we can like just notice it almost with a little bit of humor sometimes, like, oh, there's that thought again, right? Like there's my mind trying to tell me. One thing we've sometimes done is talk about like almost picturing like a really doting like grandmotherly figure, someone who's always like, oh no, you can eat, like go for it, you can have more, like what do you need right now, and like almost like that kind of passenger on your bus just saying like, oh no, you're fine, just have another scoop of ice cream. So like that's the thing that your mind will end up doing, is coming up with those excuses to engage in behaviors that maybe don't fit your values in the moment. So I think watching for excuses. Now, that doesn't mean fighting with them. It doesn't mean you have to come up with a really good counter. The cool thing with ACT, it just means you got to call it out for what it is. Like, oh, there's my mind giving me excuse. Now, what do I actually want to do right now? Because who's in charge here ultimately, you or your mind?
Yeah, that's so interesting. So it's like you can accept this thought as an excuse, and then I guess the commitment part comes in. Then, so would you just explain the commitment part? So let's go with the example of you're deciding to exercise, you're deciding to eat healthy, and your mind comes up with the excuse, oh, you don't really like eating healthy, or you don't really like being active, or you don't have the energy for it, whatever. The mind is the ultimate excuse maker. So we recognize the excuse and we accept, oh, that's just an excuse, that's all it is. What would be the commitment part of ACT, or is there something else that you would follow up with?
Yeah. So I'm thinking about like maybe a personal example for me. So I've been trying to get more into mountain biking. And so just kind of working on some health goals, because with mountain biking as an example, like I noticed it really helps me with some values around adventure, and challenging myself, which are things I really enjoy. And then also with social connection. And I'm working on getting a little bit stronger as a biker so I can hang with some of my friends that are strong bikers right now. And so for the connection part, I mean, they bike with me going slow, but it'd be a lot more fun if like we could bike at a similar level. So I'm working on kind of improving my biking abilities with mountain biking. And so with that, working on some health goals. So I'm bringing that values piece in again, right? Because coming back to values will give a much clearer, I think, guide and motivator. And then like I might be in a situation like at a restaurant. This is a very common one for me. I'll be at a restaurant and I'll think, well, gosh, I'm at this restaurant. Like, don't I want to try like the cool, most delicious thing, like the triple fried whatever. Like I think I saw once a hamburger that had a grilled cheese, Texas toast grilled cheese, then a cheeseburger, then Texas toast grilled cheese. I'm like, well, that sounds really interesting and cool. I should get that. And so like my mind kind of goes to that mindset. And for me, just like noticing, oh, okay, like, there's that thought, like, and then thinking about my values in that moment, coming back to this choice point, like, okay, I could choose to be about having this interesting experience now, but then I also have this long-term commitment of eating healthier. And this actually is a really cool opportunity to enact my values linked to mountain biking and to getting in shape in this moment, by actually choosing a healthier option at the menu. And so having some work done in the moment will help me, because part of what I'm highlighting is, well, gosh, both are values, right? So, and your mind can always spin a values talk on top of it. But if I have a little bit of a plan of thinking about these situations, what I'm able to come back personally to is, actually, this is a really cool opportunity to challenge myself right here and now. And to grow a bit myself, and maybe even have a bit of an adventure in a different way, but in this way of try to order something healthier and see what that's like, because I always choose the really unhealthy option. And I don't actually know what it's like to get a really well-made salad at this nice restaurant. That might actually be something that would be a lot more enjoyable. And it would just be a different experience, which was kind of the goal at the end point. So it sounds a little bit in my head, but if I have some of that worked out ahead of time, I can come back to my commitment of, this is what I want to be moving towards in the here and now.
Yeah, so like the work done ahead of time could be journaling. It could be I'm practicing being mindful. I'm going to take 10 minutes here to journal about my nutrition, and I'm going to say, what is my long-term goals here. I'm trying to for me, I'm trying to run a half marathon, and I want to try and maintain my weight, or if I could, drop a few pounds. So I'm going to cook my meal this afternoon, as opposed to grabbing whatever I can, getting the quick kind of short-term hit. So yeah, it's very it's almost like you stack values on top of each other. Is that something like,